Hi, everybody. Today we are going to talk about OsmAnd for mappers. And I'm Victor. Started the project in 2010.
I am Eugene, and I joined OsmAnd in 2015.
Yeah, right now we have more than 20 team members, and currently they're in tough conditions in Ukraine mostly. Cannot leave the country, but they send hello to you from Kiev. Thank you for supporting Ukraine. And also, it's the first time we are here at the OpenStreetMap United States. We really like it, so it's glad to be here. Finally, we make it. For people who probably are not familiar with the product or what we do, I just could say a few words about it. I started the project in 2010, and main goal was to create open source tool for offline mobile navigation. So mostly we were focused on, I was focused on creating something open source that could go. In 2010, it was not that popular yet, but something could, if we do something wrong, that people could fork it and do it. And another thing, to focus especially on offline, to focus on privacy things. So we basically don't know anything what people do. And mostly the features we develop, the available offline. So first of all, it's most important feature, of course, view the map and navigation. But there are some features that we also developed last year, lately, like a weather forecast, also offline, very small size. For 2 weeks, for example, it's 50 megabytes just for the whole United States, and you have the full weather forecast. Also 3D relief, pretty compact. It's 3 gigabytes size or that takes on device, and it processes all things offline, basically using a GDAL library. And also, for example, a feature of Wikipedia. As you see, we are mostly focused on offline things. And few words how we actually using OpenStreetMap. We are pretty heavily using the data and what people do. I just counted recently that we supported around more than 7,000 features of OpenStreetMap, basically tag values. For navigation, we recently added some interesting kind of navigation, like a trail or like a trains. We also support public transport, both. It doesn't mean that we support it very good enough, but what's most important that we say, for example, once we introduced public transport, that people started mapping more for public transport, even though it's still flaky, but we see that quality of data is growing. So it's always a collaboration. You introduce the feature, and then basically people start doing something in that direction, because now they see the tools that they can use and keep mapping. For rendering, we support like 7 custom styles. They have lots of parameters, each style. For example, we recently also last year added finally that you can select a route relation. Of course, there are specific tools like that do it much better. Like I would recommend waymarked trails on OpenStreetMap.org. I don't remember the website. And that was basically we were taking the idea and putting on a device, on mobile devices, and people using more and more, putting the shields on the trails and basically introducing more features in OpenStreetMap. And that's what I think is the most important. And because we heavily rely on OpenStreetMap details, we also introduced an editor quite a long time ago, but we keep improving it. Maybe we can do it better, but we're on the 5th place by the number of editors. And as you see, the number is growing, so we definitely need to do a better job because people trust us more and more. And as I said, my presentation is about what we do for mappers. So what are the most important features for mappers OsmAnd basically does? I think the one most important feature that we introduced, and I don't see that anybody does that as well, is a live map updates. That's what we do on top of offline maps. So once you downloaded the map, you can download every 10 minutes an incremental update, which is basically fast. It takes only 5 minutes to process on a server, In that interval, we run Overpass query, generate the maps to get calculate the difference, split by country, and then basically make it available to download. It's a very small updates actually. It's, for example, for the whole May of 2023, it just takes 7 megabytes. Comparing to the full size of the map is 380 megabytes. Of course, per day, it's like a 500 kilobyte. It's a useful update. It's because it incorporates the features. It's not like a smallest update of Planet OpenStreetMap.org, because this one, you still need to retrieve the nodes under it and so on to make the features. And these updates we support fully for maps, navigation, because our navigation using A*, so it's slow, but also it benefits a lot that you can use live data immediately once you download it, and POI information. So this basically a good thing about it. It also supports public transport, but there are some kind of still issues we need to fix and work. And unfortunately, it's always like if feature is not perfect, people not using it, and it's kind of also gets down in the backlog to fix. Also, what's actually very important that we realized to make this feature free for OSM mappers, but not free as it is, but to make some motivation. We ask people to do 30 changes in a month, and that's actually for mappers good motivation to not forget, because sometimes they take a break, they forget to do something like, okay, I did enough changes already, thousands and so on. But this kind of motivates to do things continuously, to get back to the project, and basically they can use OsmAnd then for free. Another second feature, I would say, it's a POI editing, that we support a simple create a single node. We support also editing non-single node POIs, that you can edit all the tags. And also you can kind of not automate, but make it quick, because we support quick action. So you can create quick action for different type of POI. So for example, you can have quick action to put a bench in the center of the map and so on and so on. Put a garbage bin, for example, as another action. So this kind of automated tool, but it's not very specific. It doesn't support a lot like geometry changes like Vespucci does, but it's still something that could be used by hand. And of course, that's our primary kind of focus. We also support uploading GPX to OpenStreetMap. And we support OSM nodes so that you can browse, edit comment. That's online feature. Well, basically because it requires this communication channel that you create bugs, but it also works offline. So you can create it once you don't have internet and upload it later. So it helps to do this like regular tasks, like when you open the map and you see that there are some issues, you walk around, put the comments, fix the issues, or put the comments and fix it later if it requires changing geometry, some complex things that OsmAnd doesn't support. And what we plan to do in the future for mappers is supporting editing templates, so people could import like Geosm templates. They can import it from Geosmo, and we basically have standard suggestions as well. We also would like to have OSM nodes layer offline, so you can download it, have a full cache and incremental updates, for example, so you don't need to be online, or you don't need to kind of keep it on the screen, this OSM nodes. Also, we would like to have, there are some requests as well, Overpass layer, so you can basically search for any tag, because what we do, we have our POIs, and they are still limited. They're like 2000 as I showed types, and of course in OpenStreetMap there are much more POI types, very specific, and for these specific needs, it's just easier to introduce direct queries to the server than to pre-process, prepare it for our maps, and that's what Overpass would be a good fit for. Also, what's one next feature that like we really wanted a long time ago, to introduce a map inspector. So people could view the text and details for every road. So right now, you need to build a route to see the text on the roads, and it's a very limited set. Or it needs to be a POIs, and you have a large set of attributes. And basically, that would be a next step to have a universal editor that you can edit ways, tags of the ways, and so on. Yeah, I forgot to mention that if you didn't try OsmAnd, now you can find the URL in the booklet that gives you for the summer free update. You can try all the features for this summer. This is a QR code, and that basically finalize my presentation. Thank you.